Hello, everybody. Dr. Rick Wallace dropping in on you. I'm here for weekend motivation. This is Saturday morning, weekend motivation. I'm going to get right to the point, but I do want to remind you of a special project we have going now. I'm not going to get into it very deeply. If you've listened to the last couple of videos, you know about it, but I'm starting book number 25, which is a special project. Number one, because it's book number 25. Number two, because of what it's about. And I want to partner with those in my community who want to see change, who want to see empowerment, who want to see an elevation on the individual and a collective level. And you will be able to permanently memorialize your loved one or whoever you want to in this book. To learn more about how, click the link in the description box, and I'll share the link as we move through this. Video. I'm copying it now, so I'm gonna put it in here. But sorry about all this, but I wanted to share that with you. Partner with me. You get to memorialize your people. You get to partner with me, get this project going and off the ground, because after the book comes the real work. Wow, a lot of it didn't go up, so we'll have to see what's going on with that. But anyway, not sure what's going on with it, but anyway, it's in the description box. It's Saturday morning motivation. I want to keep it real simple. I want to really get to the point here. There are two things I want to talk about. The first one is knowing your why. The second one is protecting your light, defending your light, knowing your why. One of the primary causes that I see people reneging on commitments they made to themselves to do something exceptional or do something extraordinary or do something phenomenal is because they don't understand their why. They don't have the right motive. They're doing it because someone else said it would be a good idea. They're doing it because everyone else is doing it. They're doing it because they think they can get something they want, but they're truly not spiritually, intellectually, and emotionally committed to it, because it's not what they're really passionate about. They're just doing it because it seems to be a direct connection to what they want to do. You have to know your why. The reason I do what I do as a business owner, the reason I do what I do as a force in the community, is because that is connected to my why. My why is I want to be a difference maker. I want to leave a legacy. I want to make my presence felt. I don't want to simply have existed in this world, and after I'm gone, within a few years, nobody even knows that I was ever here. So how do you do that? You find your reason why. Why am I doing what I'm doing? Because I'm leaving a legacy for my progeny. I'm leaving a legacy that will speak of me long after I'm gone. I'm doing something more than trying to get temporal acknowledgement, trying to get somebody to accept me, trying to get somebody to like me. What I'm doing isn't popular. You can look at it by the number of subscribers I have on certain channels. Why? Because I'm not here for the likes. I'm not here for the sensationalism. I'm not here to go viral. I'm here because I want people to really pay attention to what I'm dropping on them, because what I'm dropping on them is going to have an impact on their life if they're willing to open up and commit to change. But you have to, my why are my kids. My why is my wife. My why is my legacy. I know my why. Why is knowing your why so important? Because your why, if you connect to the true nature of why you're here in this world, why you're doing what you're doing, it will be bigger than the challenges that you face. If you don't have a big enough why, you're going to shut down. You're going to quit. You're going to renege. You're going to turn around. You're going to lose yourself in the struggles, the vicissitudes, and the detrimental things that come in your life, you are going to sit up and fold. Why? Because it's heavy, because it's hard, because it's difficult. Life isn't about ease. Life isn't about comfort. Life isn't about life folding over for you and rolling over and letting you just run through it. Anything worth having is going to take some commitment, some effort, some struggles, some setbacks, some disappointments, some heartaches, some pain. You're going to have some people who you thought loved you are going to show you something different. You're going to have all that. And if your why isn't big enough, you're going to go fold and run back to your corner of comfort. Oh, but when you know your why, when you're connected to your true purpose, why you're doing it, why you're here, let me tell you what happens. Your why, your purpose will explain your pain. It's some things you've been through in this life didn't make no sense at all when you were going through it. But when you truly discover your why, when you truly discover your purpose, when you determine this is why I'm doing what I'm doing, it all makes sense. It was prepping you for this moment of commitment. It was prepping you for this journey of challenge. It was prepping you to rise up and do something that you have not done before. Because in order to have what you've never had, you've got to be willing to do what you've never done. To have what most people don't have, you're going to have to do what most people don't do. You can't play average and make big. You can't do it. So you're going to have to know your why. Why? Because your why will get you through the tough times. You'll be able to consult yourself in those dark moments and say, this is why I'm going through it. This is why I'm staying committed. This is why there's a reason I haven't folded with all the crap I go through in the Black community. There's a reason I haven't folded after having multiple heart attacks. There's a reason I haven't folded after having my businesses go so high and then having to start over. There's a reason I refuse to quit. I got babies looking at me. I got a wife depending on me. I got a legacy that I'm building for great grandkids that I will never meet. See, you got to think bigger than the now. You got to be planning a legacy that outlives you. That's the problem. A lot of people are so into right now, you can't build for tomorrow. You can't be all in on today and not build for tomorrow. Yes, you need to handle what's on your table today. You need to give it everything you have for that moment, but you got to have a part of you that can project out into the future, that can see the things that are not happening yet as if they're happening now, and then plan for them, work for them, dream for them, fight for them, die for them, because that's going to be your legacy. A lot of people are caught up in survival mode. Why? Because all I can do is worry about what's going on today. It's so big. It's so heavy. It's so frustrating. I don't know what I'm going to do. How I'm going to do this. How am I going to do that? Well, you need to be able to fight about what you need to do now, but you got to have a plan so that you're not going through the same thing again next week, the same thing again next month, the same thing again next year. How are you fighting and building it? And how do you do that? I become something tomorrow that I'm not today. I wake up every day and the first commitment I make to myself is I will not go to sleep the same man that woke up. I refuse to do it. I'm going to learn something new. I'm going to get better. I'm going to move in the gym. I'm going to get better and stronger in the gym. I'm going to pick up a book that I haven't read. I'm going to study some research that I haven't studied. I'm going to work on me. I'm not going to bed the same man. If I do that every day, I won't be able to notice the incremental changes day by day. But when I look up next year, I will not be the man I was this year, because I can tell you right now, I'm definitely not the man I was last year. That's how you move. You fight, you ride, you push, you stand, you climb. This is a step-by-step journey. This isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. You've got to make up in your mind that my why is so big that I can't quit. No surrender, no retreat. I refuse to fold. My legacy will say, I came, I saw, I conquered. My legacy won't say it was easy. My legacy won't say I got it all right. My legacy won't say I never failed. My legacy won't say that everything came to me as easy as just thinking about it and snapping but my legacy will say he never quit. My legacy will say he never folded. My legacy will say he came from a dark place, but he rose to a prominent light. My legacy will say there's something about that man that's still speaking, and he's been gone for X amount of years. That's because I'm planting seeds that will outlive me. That's because I'm pouring out into people that don't even know me. That's because that's my why. Somebody that I'll never meet will believe in themselves because I put my work in every day. I'm not just affecting the lives of people, I'm infecting people. That's something we should all understand in the time of a pandemic with so many things going around. The one thing we should understand is infection. When you are infectious, you're not just affecting the person you deal with, you're infecting them. You're infecting them with your faith. You're infecting them with your passion. You're infecting them with your commitment. You're infecting them with your determination. You're infecting them with all the things that have allowed you to change your life. So not only will they change their life, they're going to go out and infect somebody else. Somebody you'll never meet is going to be blessed because you stood up and did what you were designed to do. Start living at the level of your design. Stop cowering down behind fear. Stop cowering down behind mediocrity and average, because that's what everybody else is doing. You wasn't put here on this planet to be average and be what everybody else is doing. You were put here to stand out. You were put here to make a difference. You were put here to be a force in this world. Next and final on this weekend motivation. Defend your light. Defend your light. There's no need, first and foremost, to fear the darkness. Why is that? Because darkness is the absence of light. When light enters the room, darkness has to flee. You don't have to be afraid of the darkness. That's something that's been inculcated into the psyche of so many people that when it gets dark, they become afraid. Switch on the light. Defend your light. Why? Because there are going to be some people in your periphery, in your circle, that don't believe in you. And they're going to try to turn the light out. Why? Because your light makes them uncomfortable, because they become comfortable in dwelling in the darkness. They become comfortable in dwelling in the maze of mediocrity. They've become comfortable in being average. And now you're convicting them of their mediocrity by rising to the full level of your potential. And they no longer have the excuses that they've had for not trying. Why? Because you came from the same place they came from. You've been through the same things they've been through. You suffered the way they suffer, and you are rising out. There goes the excuse. They can't have it. They're going to try to turn the light off. Defend your light. Build you a circle of people who you can trust, who believe in you. I'm not talking about yes men. I've never surrounded myself by yes men. I never surrounded myself by anyone who was afraid to tell me the truth about what I was doing. I'm not talking about yes men. I'm talking about people who believe in you. When they believe in you, that doesn't mean they won't call you on your BS. It means that even in calling you on their BS, they're reminding you of what you should be doing, where you should be going, how high you should be. They're calling you to step up, not trying to pull you down. There's a difference. Defend your light. Some of you got people right next to you that don't want nothing more than to turn your light off. I know there are some people listening to this, like on the Black Voice, on the podcast, on my Black Voice Facebook page, my Black Voice YouTube channel, going like, what's this about? I share every now and then some stuff on this channel that I do on other channels. I actually do for a living. I work with people. I work with people to help them get to where they want to get. I counsel people. I offer therapy. I deal with people who are coming from trauma. I also deal with people who are having performance issues. I do that for a living. But every now and then, there are people who are on the Black Voice. Yes, we need to fight and build a community. That's what this project is about. We've got to fight and grow the community. But I'm going to tell you, you got to be your best self to be a part of the link in the chain that's building and driving this thing, because we're only strong as the weakest link. The weak link pops, the chain breaks, there's no power, there's no force. So yes, on an individual level, this benefits everybody. So I decided to stream this to you guys. I know it's not directly primarily talking about what's going on with this and what's going on with that in the Black community, but trust me, you need it. Because see, inside of you is something special. Inside of you is something extraordinary. And there is an entire force out there that's looking to break you so you never, ever get to access it and use it. You're no different than the person you look up to the most, the person you look at and go, oh my God, they made it. I'll never get there. They're no different than you. They just made up in their mind that they wouldn't quit. They made up in their mind that they were going to do whatever it takes within the confines of what they believe to be moral and ethical. They made up in their mind that quitting wasn't an option. I tell people all the time, because people got all kind of reasons why I've been successful in what I do. Doc, yeah, you can do it. Look, you got XYZ. You got this many degrees. Well, I didn't have this many degrees when I started. Doc, you've written 24 books and your own book number 25. I didn't have 25 books when I started. Doc, you did this with this many companies. You've done this over here. None of that was there when I started. When I started, I was in a inner city community. I was living with my great grandparents. I never met my father. The first time I saw my father was in a casket. Never met him, never shared a word with him, never had a connection, never touched me, never anything. I had every reason in the world to give up. Didn't have a great relationship with my mother. I was reared by my great grandparents. I grew up in nothing with poverty around me. We weren't that bad off because they had made some things happen, and thank God they did, because they were the first idea that life didn't have to be with what I saw around me, because they were doing better than the average person in the community. But we were definitely not wealthy. But I never mentioned anything that my grandparents said you can't do. They always told me, whatever you set your mind to, you're special. You can do it. You're special. You can do it. You're special. You can do it. They made sure my light stayed on. But what I'm trying to tell people is you're no different than the person you see. There are a bunch of people that came from worse places than you came from. There are a bunch of people that were in worse situations than you are in now. You've got to make up in your mind that you're not staying where you're at, that poverty is not your lot in life, that being in an abusive relationship is not your lot in life, that sitting up being on a job that you absolutely hate is not your lot in life, that sitting up depending on someone else to take care of you and mishandle you because they're taking care of you is not your lot in life. You are built with something special on the inside of you. There's something extraordinary on the inside of you. You got to tap into it. You got to discover your why. You got to be committed to it. You got to be willing to go the distance. Here's the thing. And then you got to block those people out that want to turn off your light. Defend your light, because the light is what's going to drive out the darkness. The light is what's going to be able to change the entire makeup of energy in a room when you walk into it, because your force is so strong. I'm not talking to you about some mystical idea. I'm talking to you about proven principles of living life. I haven't always been on the winning side of the war. I've gotten the crap knocked out of me a few times. But you know what? I refuse to quit. One of my favorite movies is an old crazy movie called Wallace. And I just happened to watch it because, I heard it was a decent movie. And, it was about, the movie is kind of basic, but it was filled with folklore, but it was about in the 30s, I think, these moonshiners up in the hills of Virginia and Kentucky, and how they were moving their moonshine back during Prohibition. And they had connections with law enforcement, that everybody had pathways to make that. That's how they were living. That's how they were making their living. And they were called the Bondurants, the name of the family. The Bondurants were probably the guys. They didn't fear anybody. They were basically legends, right? And then comes these city guys from Chicago who hears about all the money being made. They come in and try to take over, and they try to manhandle the Bondurant brothers. Well, the youngest brother wasn't tough like the two older brothers who were killers. He wasn't. He was smart, but he wasn't tough. And he got caught trying to do something, and these lawmakers beat him half to death and killed his cousin. And then the toughest of the brothers asked him a question: what are you going to do about it? And he kept telling them, I'm not like you. I'm not like you at Howard. I'm not built like that. I don't know how to be mean and tough and violent. And he walks over to him and he says something that I still hold. It stuck with me. And it stuck with me. And it was real simple. He leaned over to him. He says, it's not the violence that sets a man apart. It's the distance he is prepared to go. You got a bunch of people willing to be violent, but how far are they willing to go? See, the person that's willing to go all the way to the end, the person that's willing to go until he's taking his last breath, the person that's willing to say, you're going to have to kill me to stop me, that person is dangerous. I have seen in the boxing ring a man completely outclassed skill-wise, but just refused to quit, kept getting hit, stayed in the fight just enough for the ref not to stop the fight. But guess what? The other guy's getting tired. He's giving him his best shot, and he won't quit. I'm pummeling him, and he won't quit. Guess what happens? All of a sudden, you start to see defeat in the eye of the skilled person and hope in the eye of the unskilled person. It's not how skilled you are. You need skill, but it's not how skilled you are. It's not the resources. You need resources, but it's not how many resources you have. It's the distance you are prepared to go. I tell people all the time, I'm not where I'm at now because I have this or because I got all of this because of one thing. I'm relentless. My one word to define me is relentless. I am not going to quit. I say it all the time. It sounds cliche, but it's the way I live my life. Hang around me long enough, you're going to see it. My thing is this. Once I set my mind to do something, I'm either going to do it or I'm going to die trying. Either way works for me. But what no one will say is I quit. My legacy to my great-great-grandchildren will not be that Paw quit. It will not be. My grandson that runs around and thinks the world rises and sets in me, literally lives to come and roughhouse with me because he's there most of the time because our son is living with him right now. But he's there most of the time. All he wants to do is roughhouse and hang out with Paw. But he will never find in any of his memories of Paw that Paw laid it down, that Paw quit. A series of mini strokes up until 2019. 5 heart attacks in March of 2020 in the span of a week. Got knocked flat on my back in 2012. Never knew my dad. I could take you all the way back to childhood. I am not going to fold. If I'm still breathing, I'm still in the fight. Now, guess what? I'm not better than you. I just have a mindset that takes me places that a lot of people will never go because they want to have comfort and they got the wrong people around them, the wrong people pouring into them, the wrong people writing their narrative for them. I got the pen. I'm writing my narrative. Oh, I fell down, right? I'm writing get up right behind it. Oh, I lost this amount in this business endeavor. I'm writing recovery right behind it. I'm writing the narrative. If I'm breathing, I'm writing it. Know your why and defend your light. I hope that anyone who heard this is taking something away from this and will live in power. Now, I'm about to get off of here, but like I said in the beginning, look at the link down there. Check that out. If you want to be a part of the project that is ongoing now, book number 25, and I mean be permanently a part of it because we're going to publish it in the book. You and whoever you want to memorialize, learn how you can partner with me in this endeavor. Click the link, go to the page, watch the video, read it, and then participate if you decide. That's something that I'm excited about because I'm literally going to have people who really believe in work I'm doing sitting up there memorializing the people they love. And it's going to be in that book, copyrighted and permanent. On that note, I'm going to get out here. As I always say, I live my life on full so that I die on E. And people say, what does that mean? I hear that, I've heard other people say that. And what does it mean? It simply means this, that I have 86,400 seconds in a day. A good portion of that is going to be spent sleeping and recovering from the work I put in the day before. But if I'm awake, my moments and my seconds have purpose. Sometimes it's to sit back and get into my thoughts. Other times it's to spend time with my wife. Other times it's to spend time with my children. But a certain amount of that time is putting in work. It's grinding. It's making every second. I don't have 1 second to waste, because when it's gone forever. So when I say I'm going to live my life on full, what it means is I'm not going to go to bed with unused, unactualized, unapplied seconds that I could have done something with. Every second has a purpose. It's not all work. It's not all intensity. Sometimes you need to relax during the day. Take a nap. But the nap has to have purpose. I'm not napping because I'm lazy. I'm napping because I've went so hard that I need to take a break, let my mind catch up, let my brain rest. Because there's certain thing is mental fatigue, decision fatigue. Sometimes that's why I make all my most important decisions early in the morning. Why? I'm fresh. Literally, decision fatigue is real. You got to know how to play the game, but you also got to be committed to the game. Committed to win. So here's the thing. A person that I have a great deal of admiration for, Dr. Miles Monroe, once said, I've heard Les Brown say it too, but Dr. Miles Monroe is the first person I ever heard say it. He said, the cemetery is the wealthiest place in the world. He says, there you'll find books unwritten, companies not started, inventions not created, relationships not cultivated, ideas not examined and investigated. And so you find out that so many people die without fulfilling their potential. That's all it is. You take your potential to the grave with you. Don't do that. Miss Love, you're asking specifically about the project. So I'm going to explain it to you. I just published a little over a month ago, book number 24, Merging Souls. And now I am on book number 25, which deals with building generational wealth within the Black community. It's important to me for a number of reasons. Number one, the topic of building wealth is immensely important in the Black community. And that the fact that it's my 25th book, which is amazing to me because I never set out, I'm going to write 25 books. I'm going to write X amount of books. I started with one book that I knew I needed to write. Like I said, I never knew my dad. So in high school, I wrote an article for my journalism teacher entitled The Invisible Father. That later became my first book. The only book I wanted to write at that time was that book, The Invisible Father, Reversing the Curse of a Fatherless Generation. And after I wrote that book, I realized I haven't even scratched the surface of what I have to share. And so I decided to start my own publishing company and start writing. And I've been writing ever since. Some of my books were actually published by other publishers. The crazy thing is, when I first wrote that book, nobody wanted to publish me because it was for an audience that they didn't feel they could market to. Guess what audience that is? Anyway, I started my own publishing company. Then later on, publishers came and said, hey, look, I want you to write this. And so I said, yeah, I'll do it. And I'll partner with you. It's good to have multiple things going at one time. So it was a partnership. It was great. Anyway, to answer your question, Ms. Lovelace, what I'm doing with this 25th book is I'm actually partnering with my community. Those who are subscribers or followers or friends are part of my community, believe in the work I'm doing, whether it's in personal development, personal performance, traumatic healing, or in doing work in the Black community. If you believe in the work I'm doing, you can partner with me. And the way you partner with me is through sponsorships. If you click that link, it's going to take you there and show you exactly what I'm talking about. But anybody who sponsors, whether you sponsor this book with $1 or $1,000, you're going to have your name published in the book, and you get to memorialize somebody that means a lot to you, whether they've passed on and you're memorializing them, or if you are just showing love to your spouse or your significant other or somebody in your community that you have a lot of respect for, you get to do that. And some people, depending on the size of the sponsorship, will have their own page. But everybody's going to be treated the same. Nobody's amount is going to be in there, because I don't want to make anybody feel small. If you give $1, your name's going to be in there. You're going to get to memorialize somebody just like everybody else. But obviously, anybody who sponsors $25 or more will get the book when it's released free. And anybody that sponsors $100 or more will have their own page. So that's the gist of it. I hope I explained that to you. You can go check it all out and read it. But that's what I'm talking about. That's the information I'm going to put in videos for now until we get this thing really moving. Anybody that actually wants to work with me, you can email me directly, and I'll put this in the email box at CEO at rickwallaceph.d.link. I just shared that, and you can contact me and talk to me about different ways you can work with me. I'm not putting those links in because I want to really focus on this book right now. And I want people to I want a lot of people memorializing people in there. Like I said, if it's $1, if it's $1,000, obviously all of it's appreciated by me because it says that you've seen my work, you've watched me on video, you've read a book, you've read one of the thousands upon thousands of articles I've written over the years, and you can see how I'm making a difference and you want to be a part of this next project. And so that means a lot to me. And obviously it helps me because I own the publishing company. So there is no writing or author advance to write this book. I'm writing it on my dime and my time. So on that note, look, I'm out of here. You guys have an unbelievable day. About to go hook up with the youngest son. He's not the youngest, but the youngest son, and spend some time with him, get him ready. He starts school Monday, and we do a lot of unique stuff with the way we school our kids. So gonna spend some time with him. All right. Thanks everybody for dropping in, showing some love, sticking around. Especially my peeps on the Black Voice. I know this is not what you're used to hearing, but this is what Doc does to pay the bills. And I do it pretty good. You know, actually I'm doing that. I change lives. I have a 99.99% success rate. I get it done. So this is what I do. I'm not just hanging around talking points about stuff. I actually have spent my life becoming the person I am so that I can be of use to someone else. On that note, you guys have an unbelievable weekend, and I'm about to check out.